Hello, this is the Lovely Opinionated Vegan Evolving. This is my evolution. Okay, so I'm going to just come right out with it. I believe that raising children to be meat and dairy and fish and egg eaters is cruel and barbaric and should just be stopped. I think that most children are inherently not interested in eating animals. I saw a comment on something the other day where a woman said that her 2 or 3-year-old daughter saw chicks hatching, and that as soon as the little baby chick popped out, the 2-year-old or 3-year-old was pointing to it and then pointing to her mouth, like she wanted to eat the chicks. So, those people probably exist. There probably are human beings that from the moment they wake up, they see another living being and they just say, yum, I want it dead, I want to eat it. A mom that I know told me not that long ago that her 3.5-year-old, she said, he's just a carnivore. He just really is. I'm sorry. And she did like a little shrug, like, I'm sorry. And I wondered to myself, okay, so you have given him meat, and so therefore he likes it, it's just funny that someone would classify their 3-year-old as a carnivore when the reality is that you're the one who has offered the meat, just like, people think that children who are being raised vegan don't like meat because they're being influenced to not like it and to think it's bad and to be told it's bad. And somehow we're corrupting our children. But that's why I really want to talk about what I believe, which is probably controversial. And, if a lot of people disagree with me, I wouldn't be surprised. But I really do believe that if you choose to raise your children to eat eggs and meat and cheese and dairy and fish, what you are doing is promoting violence in the world, and you're also promoting illness and addiction in your children, because there are many studies out there which I believe are credible and I believe are well done that prove that eating meat and dairy and fish and eggs is harmful to your health. And that the amount of protein and calcium that you actually do get from eating meat and dairy and fish and eggs is not a good amount, and it's not a clean source of these things. It's actually a dirty source of these things, because with that protein comes cholesterol and fat and animal flesh, and also comes death, and comes torture and cruelty and environmental destruction, contributes to human famine worldwide, which is something else I've recently learned about, because first of all, a huge amount of the grain that is being taken from these countries where people are starving to death and could be surviving by eating the grains that are being grown in their very own backyards practically. But instead of them being allowed to eat the food that their country is growing and producing, it's being taken away for industries that are producing animals to be killed or to be used for their milk. Okay, so human beings are being starved in order to feed these animals, because the amount of food it takes to feed a cow, for that cow to grow, which a cow is a vegan, like us, we drink the milk from our mother. So we live in this twisted freaking world where human beings, at least where I live, it's very unusual to nurse your children past even 6 months. And past 1 year, that's practically unheard of. Seriously, like the image of a woman with a baby that's bigger, like they're only shown like this teeny thing. And and that's part of the culture, that women are supposed to get out there and start working right away because of women's rights, and it's like, what kind of rights is that? Like, I have the right to leave my newborn baby and I don't need to use my own body, which can produce this beautiful milk, this magical milk, which is like, when you eat fruits and vegetables and grains and good stuff, you're making this amazing mother's milk. That's what cow's milk is, Here are all these people. I heard this amazing man, his name is James Aspey, and he's an animal rights activist, and he did this little segment where he was saying to people, why do you still like to breastfeed? Do you drink milk? And if they said yes, why do you still like to breastfeed? And they would be like, what? And I said that to my brother, and at first he was like, no, that's not true, that's not even their breasts. And I'm like, well, it is their breasts, even though they're down there, that's their breasts. That's their mother's milk. Those are their breasts, And everywhere you look, they want to show cows' breasts and their milk engorged breasts with their huge udders, like yum, yum, yum. But then the idea of a woman showing her big boobs, it's like, there's so many sexual, twisted, sick things, and then it's like the milk and dairy and meat industries are so powerful and so like omnipresent. They're just, they are embedded in every aspect of this culture. And then, it's like you're taught that you're somehow wrong if you want to nurse your own children past like just a few weeks or months. And it's normal to give your children cow's milk. But not only that, it's normal to drink cow's milk well into adulthood and beyond. Like basically your whole life, you're hooked and addicted on this breast milk. This is like, we are mammals, okay? And mammals give birth to live babies instead of eggs. And they nurse their children from their boobs with their nipples, and they make milk. And that's what mammals do. Every single mammal. That's what they're doing, okay? We are mammals. Cows are mammals. So they have to be pregnant in order to make milk. They're not just milk machines. We're not doing them a favor, okay? So this is like what I was saying. Raising children to be meat and dairy and egg eaters, that is cruel, because it's promoting cruelty, it's promoting violence, it's promoting illness, it's harming, And then the other thing is that, okay, so there's these studies that show that it is harmful to your health. There's also studies that show that these are very addictive things, like when a baby is nursing, no matter what animal species it is, there are chemicals and so forth that are in the milk that are very addictive, which really, really make the baby want it, which is nature's design, because you want that baby to want that stuff because it needs it to survive. Okay, so cows would nurse their baby up to 3 years, if not more, in nature. Humans as well could nurse for 3 to 6 years, The baby teeth are called milk teeth, and they fall out at around 5 years old. Okay, so many cultures do nurse till they're 5. I think it's probably super healthy to do that, even though obviously at some point it stops being the primary source of nourishment. In my culture, it's like, absolutely despicable to think of doing that, okay? But yet it's perfectly acceptable and normal to feed your children the milk of another species well beyond 5 years old, like I said, for their whole entire life. So even the idea of what milk even is has been so twisted by this milk industry, which makes billions and billions of dollars. And every year they are breeding forcibly. They are raping the males to get their semen, which is horrific. And then they are forcibly impregnating the females, which are enslaved, just like the males. And then they keep these females, they're pregnant, and as soon as the babies are born, they steal the baby away. If it's a male baby, it gets put in a freaking tiny crate for a few days or weeks until it is then shipped off to be killed as veal. If it's a female, she will be enslaved until she is ready to be raped and impregnated so that her babies can be stolen away. and they will do it as soon as physically possible. Okay, these are animals that could live into their 30s, and yet, and they would have like forever family bonds. Like, these are social creatures who love each other. These are mothers. Cows are mothers, and they're babies. Like, if you love boys, you should hate meat and dairy. You should hate it. You should hate eggs. If you love boys, you should hate eggs. If you love boys, you should hate milk. If you love boys, you should hate cheese, because it kills these industries kill boys, you know. And it's like, I mean, it kills the girls too, and the girls are just, they're raped and they're tortured. And okay, so a cow who could live for 30 or so years, every year they are impregnated. They're pregnant for 9 months. Then they give birth with no comforts. They just give birth, and their baby is stolen away from them within minutes or, a day. And the baby's not allowed to nurse. The baby is sent off to be killed. And the mother is then, this is repeated 5 or 6 or 7 times until her body completely gives out, way, years, decades before she would normally in nature give out. And then she's sent into a meat grinder to become hamburgers because she's so worn out. That's it, okay? So when you consume cheese and ice cream and dairy milk and anything that is made out of dairy, you are contributing to death, animal death, and horrific practices, okay? And eggs, it's similar, okay? Eggs are a chicken's menstrual cycle. It is their period. It is their egg, just like we have eggs, and when they come out unused, it doesn't come out in a neat shell. And that would be pretty cool. Imagine, ladies, if you could have your period, it just came out in a little egg all at one time instead of the way it does, But anyway, that's not what we are, but that's what a chicken is. And its period comes out in a neat little package, and then you crack it open and you eat it. That's just disgusting, okay? And not only that, it's like, it's not cool, They don't want you to do that. They don't want to be bred to the point where they are popping out so many eggs that, like all day long. That's all they're doing all day long. Can you imagine if that was your life? That you had to just do that so someone could eat your vaginal discharge, okay? And then you want to think it's bizarre not to want your children to eat this stuff? Okay, so I think I got ranty again. All right, but I'm serious. Like, don't promote violence, okay? Gandhi said, or there's a quote attributed to him, there is no path to peace. Peace is the path, okay? That means you cannot bomb for peace. You cannot kill somebody for peace. And then Thich Nhat Hanh was quoted as saying, there is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path. Okay? So either you are joyful and you fill the world with joy and you bring joy into the world, and that's where joy is, or you sulk around looking for it. You can't kill anything or enslave anything or exploit any being or use it as something just for your use without causing harm, okay? So when you promote these things to your children, you're teaching them it's okay to kill. It's okay to eat unhealthy food. It's okay to ingest violence and cruelty and enslavement. It's okay to be a speciesist, which means it's like totally normal to live in this world where animals are just used and abused, okay? Not that long ago, I read that the African rhino is officially extinct. And it didn't just happen, they didn't just all die. They were killed. They were systematically used and abused and killed and exploited and used as a product. And they're all gone now, okay? And human beings don't understand that when you're eating death every day and you're feeding your child death, and cruelty for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner, and then you teach them it's okay to fight, and you teach them it's good to be in an army or in a Marine Corps or whatever this is. It's good to kill. It's good to have guns. It's good to like see other people as, you know, as if they were just ants. You could just step on them, and you know, I can't even step on an ant without feeling bad because that ant matters. And maybe it doesn't mean anything to me in my life, okay? But it does, because it's a form of life. And I don't know what that little ant is busy doing. And I don't know what it thinks or believes or feels or experiences. But I do know that it's not mine to take away, okay? And I think that it's good to teach your children that. Don't step on ants. Don't kill pigs and cows and chickens and turkeys and all kinds of birds and all kinds of fish and all kinds of everything. You can't just kill everything. You can't. It's not okay. And if you want to do that, that's cruelty, and that's what you're promoting in the world, and you're supporting industries that are surviving off of that. And I think it's wrong to teach your children, okay? So you can hate on me, haters gonna hate, and ain't just gonna ain't. You know, but when you say, I can't imagine living without cheese, it's like, I can't imagine living without the breast milk of another species who's been tied up over there and tortured, and then they take that breast milk and they coagulate it into this disgusting thing. They put bacteria in it, and when the bacteria eats all of what's left, then I eat that, and that's so delicious, and I can't imagine living without that. Wow, you know? You can't imagine living without bacon? The side of the animal, like the actual body of another being, you can't imagine living without that? Why is it so hard? You know, my own brother, who I love, he's one of the most dearest people in the world to me. He doesn't care about animals, not at all, except for veal. He sort of cares about, and that's his soft spot. But you know, when I try to press on it, he doesn't want me to. You know, I'm trying to get him to see, like, if you care at least about that, then why limit yourself? Why limit yourself to how much kindness you can experience? When your child says, I don't want to kill animals, don't hide their eyes from the fact that dairy and eggs kills animals because you're so addicted to this stuff, this disgusting stuff. You don't want them to know the truth. Let your children show you the truth, okay? Let your children teach you, because most children, I believe, are inherently vegan because they don't want to kill. They see the baby and they see the mommy cow and they know that milk is for her or for him. That's the baby's milk. That's not my milk. Okay? And if their needs were met as a baby, they wouldn't know. I drank my mommy's milk, but I'm done now because I'm this big. And so I don't, you know, what about just drinking water, people? Have you ever heard of that? Like, how many children go to school and then you send them with juice or with milk? Why don't you send them with water? I don't understand why you're so averse to drinking the beautiful, clear water that Earth wants us to drink. They don't want us to be drinking this cloggy stuff, this sugary stuff, this stuff with pus and blood and mucus and ugh, you know? That is not what nature wants, okay? So raise your children vegan. Don't be afraid. If anybody tells you you're weird, you know, who gives a crap, okay? As long as you're being kind. And yeah, I can say curse words and I can still be kind because I'm an opinionated vegan. I'm a lovely opinionated vegan. And I hope you will become one too. But spread kindness, okay? And don't be afraid to be kind. Next time, thank you. Click subscribe and like if you do. And if you're gonna be a hater, just go away, okay? Bye.